one guest. Thank you, Ted, for joining.
Ted.
Ted was invited by Mark Harry, and we usually have a showcase. And John was going to do the showcase today, but since there's only three of us, or three others of us, four of us total, probably makes sense to postpone until next week or whatever.
Yeah, I'll do it again. The only thing I'll say is that the showcase is going to be about how to do this, how to put a foreground instead of just a background in Zoom.
Very cool.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to ask you how to do that, actually.
Well, I'm gonna that's what the next meet. So stay tuned.
I'm gonna do that.
But this is what I'm going to end up with. I got the idea from when I did your QR code, Michael. And then the problem with doing it in the background, pasting it in the background, is if you move too close to that thing. And so I've got a method that I developed. It's not a secret, but it's a thing I developed that lets you put QRs in the foreground, or anything in the foreground, as long as you don't overdo it. I mean, the fun thing is that you can put a website in it.
Wow.
And I got to move out of the way.
Right. Yeah, and I'm capturing Michael's with my iPhone, but I'm not capturing yours.
Okay, that's good. It's good that we had this then.
maybe too small.
That's very likely. Well, if you pin me so that I'm the speaker, then it'll be big enough.
Or it should be.
You know, I've tested it at full, but you're right. Well, actually, when we have 12 speakers, then I've got to have a version. I've got to do a little version in the corner that just has that big enough to see in a thumbnail.
And that worked.
It works here now.
It works if he expands it. Okay.
Yeah, it took me to LinkedIn.
Right, it's my LinkedIn profile.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is a good rehearsal, guys.
Is that using like one of those tools like MMMH or something like that, or is it?
I'm using OBS.
OBS. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that as well.
You're using OBS? Yeah, I have OBS. I really like it.
I use it.
Yeah.
My guys won't let me do too much with it. They use it for screen recording when we create recordings of software for videos. But I'm dangerous with technology, so they don't let me play with the toys other than with you guys.
Yeah, I also use Studio. That's a good one.
I'm sorry?
I also use Camo Studio. That's a good one.
Yeah, Camo's good. There's a couple others that do screen capture, but then you got to pay a hefty subscription price to get it, and this is free.
Anyway,
how's everybody doing?
Doing good. Let me just give a quick. Ted was introduced by Mark Harry. Ted, for your benefit, and welcome to your first meeting of the Trusted as a guest, I assume, to the Trusted Referral Network. So the group is not 4 people. It's 180 people, but rarely do 180 people show up. In fact, never do 180 people show up. We usually get between 10 to 20 people. There are probably a couple people that now have a little bit of free time because they couldn't get into this meeting. And were they to ping me, I would certainly give them the link. But we're all marketers. It's only marketing services providers, small companies, anywhere from solopreneurs all the way up to, let's say, agencies of 20 or so people. I'm an independent. David, I believe, is independent. John has a team of 5 or fewer or something like that.
We've got 2.
3
plus me.
Okay. So you get a sense that it's typically small agencies and consultants. And the concept is that because we're all in the marketing world, and yet, small, there's a broad range of services our clients could need, and we can't fulfill all of those needs. So it's good to know people who might be able to help out, fill in some gaps, and that can be, either just a referral or some sort of collaboration, subcontracting, whatever. But the idea is you get to know people in this group. Maybe, have a conversation with them, find out exactly where their skill set lies, and see if there are opportunities, short-term, long-term, whatever, to collaborate, help each other out. And we do also have, usually have a showcase, as John was describing, and that's 15 minutes usually. It includes Q&A. And then we give everybody, whatever, depending on how many people we have, 2 to 3 minutes to do a quick intro, so that you get a sense of who they are, what they do, what their strengths are, who they're looking to meet. And they also obviously are offering, something about themselves, try to make it memorable. So we'll just jump into that. It's going to be a short meeting, and I'm going to put out an apology to the entire group, and try to fix the problem before the next meeting. But since there's only 3 of us, so I won't put a strict timer on it, but maybe David and then John and then Ted, you'll get the sense of how this all works, and then I'll go at the end.
Sounds good.
All right, David. I'm going to, I have this recording, of course. I'm going to switch to speaker mode so that David shows up full screen. And if everybody else could go on mute, that would be great. And then don't, if you got a question or something, don't be shy, raise your hand, put it in the chat. But David, take it away.
Good. Thanks, Michael. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so I work with 2pins.com, the number 2pinz.com. We amplify B2B technology companies' value propositions. And we do that through public relations or content writing. We work for startup and mid-sized B2B technology clients. And right now we're looking for any kind of B2B technology client. Today, I had a wonderful conversation with a woman who created an app for gyms, which is really cool. Like, I guess a lot of gyms don't have their own installed apps that really teach you how to take care of yourself in a gym, which is really important, because I figured, if I am a certain height and a certain weight and a certain age, I don't want to do things in the gym that might hurt me. This app keeps me on track. It takes you through the meso method, which is an 84-day method to get you to a certain level of health. And so it's great. Love it. And we're also working with agencies. We do a lot of public relations specifically, and content writing, but mostly public relations for B2B focused technology public relations firms. That's me.
Content writing and PR.
Yeah. I had a question. You guys do white label, like for a gym that has not a franchise, but like a small gym, local gym? You could white label for them.
Yeah, the company I was mentioning was a potential client, and yeah, they are definitely looking at white labeling. Yeah,
cool.
And then their second iteration is going to be white labeling with customized programs for personal trainers that want to bring in their own kind of method into the app. So,
oh, right. So they could be working in it, and trainers could be working in a gym, but they have their own business model. Yeah, cool. That's very cool.
She doesn't have any customers, but when she does, John, I'll introduce you, because my job is to help her get 1 or 2 gyms as a customer, and then she'll need video testimonials, right? So she'll go over someone like you to help build those out.
That'd be great. Yeah, we have a local gym that I never go to. I'm not a member, because I walk everywhere, and that's my routine is I walk.
That's great exercise.
Cool.
Very cool. Okay, John Parsons out in Bainbridge Island, right near Seattle.
Near Seattle, 30-minute ferry ride from Seattle.
I know where that is.
Yep. Yeah, it's the tourists swarm in the summertime, and it's like mosquitoes. You got to swat them away, because they come to Bainbridge because we have zoning ordinances that keep all the buildings. You can't build over 3 stories. You can't break that small town feel. Total sham. It's a total myth. But people come and gawk at that. We have a 4th of July parade that's supposed to be this old town experience, and it works. It's a solid brand, because people think that we're that land that time forgot, and it's actually more just a marketing thing by the Chamber of Commerce, by the local guys, and you can buy overpriced everything on Main Street. All the tourist tchotchkes you can buy for 3 times the price. But anyway, so I'm a ghostwriter. I've written or edited about 19 books. I wrote a book in 2017 that required a whole ton of video, and my 2 sons either volunteered or were drafted, depending on who's telling the story, to edit the footage that we found or created and put it on an interactive platform that goes with the book. You scan a page of the book and you get video. And so from that came our business, which is video production. So we do remote capture video. We're experimenting with interactive video, which that was my showcase last time, Michael. And so trying to do interactive video without an underlying platform, without relying on a $25,000 a year platform to make the interactivity work. And that's what we do. We're a video production company, hopefully more for small businesses and agencies that serve small businesses so that they can, and I'm in conversations with several video companies in TRN who are looking to provide their content in a more branching, choose your own adventure way. So if somebody's interested, they can choose this video or that video within the video.
So John, can you explain when you say interactive video, and I've seen the demo, but does that mean as the video is going, it will sort of pause and bring up a window for you to, to prompt, where do you want to go, or a survey, or is it more
in a way, yes, but the true interactive video goes to a time code based thing. So when you get to 404 in the video, it stops and gives you that choice. Right. There's no way we can do that, but we can call up in the corner. We can call up a find out more button like 25 seconds into the video. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, then you get an overlay. It doesn't stop the video. It still plays in the background, but it gives you the choice. And when you say, yeah, I want to go here versus there, then it goes to a new page with a new video.
I see.
And so you have that same sort of choice, but it's not interconnected with the time code, because that's the secret sauce of companies that charge you 25 grand a year so that you can build these choose your own adventure. They're used a lot. Most of this interactive video is used for training and education, and colleges have the budgets and big companies have the budgets for 25K a year to build this thing, but small businesses don't, obviously. Right. So we're trying to build a similar experience, not the same, but a similar experience that lets them give their users a greater breadth of experience, so they can experience it. They're not sitting there bored looking through a video and frankly clicking off a video once they're bored. And so our goal is to get that video more tailored to what the user wants to learn about versus what the marketer thinks they should, and then obviously don't.
And so the videos, the various video components are in fact separate video clips in your model?
Yes. We can embed the videos, but that creates huge performance problems. Right. So we can embed the MP4 so that it sits on your website, and then depending on your web service provider, it comes either after a long wait or never, because video service providers don't do well at streaming video sometimes. So it's dependent on the quality of your ISP. So what we do instead is we take a Vimeo, something that's on Vimeo or YouTube or another platform that creates the code for that. They create what's called an iframe. And that code is a window in which the video plays, just like it would on any other website. So so you've eliminated the known variables, the speed of your ISP, and all you're doing now is what's your connection. Just like it's like watching a YouTube or a Vimeo video. Right. It's quality of your connection, your Wi-Fi connection, and your service provider, because Vimeo is pretty good but not perfect. Right. But at least with Vimeo and with YouTube, I know with Vimeo, if you click a video and nothing happens, you see the progress loop, like it's trying to get to you. And we can't do that when we embed the videos. It just stops, and everybody thinks, well, it's broken. So toss it. The demos I did during my showcase, Michael,
Mhm.
those were all embedded, but they worked because I had played them before.
Yeah, they were
And on
cached.
my computer it was cached. So it
Right.
was great. But I can't do that. I can't do that with customers. I have to give them at least the equivalent experience of Vimeo, which it's dependent on how good your connection is.
Right. Right.
So,
Interesting. So can it be used then more effectively sort of on an intranet where it is cached in a local server or something?
you're
Or the
breaking up,
data?
Michael.
No, could it be used on a intranet where the data is cached locally on a server?
Yeah, of course.
That
It
would be
could be,
better.
but that's a top conversation I'd have with IT,
Right.
to say, do you have the channel? Do you have the bandwidth yourself? Because a lot of
Right.
intranets are very constrained to business transactions, which are tiny
I
compared to
see.
video. And a colleague of mine in Pennsylvania has had to have these conversations multiple times, and he said, in order to do a multi-state, multi-party virtual conference, I have to have a dedicated line. I literally have to. The IT has to negotiate with Bayer Corporation or Eli Lilly or somebody who's
Right.
sponsoring this thing with their IT and say, give me a dedicated channel with no interference, and we'll live stream the keynote speech or whatever. So yeah, it's yes, of course the answer is yes, but it's not just as simple as embedding something, because then you have to deal with security and you have stuff. But yeah, the answer is yes with a lot of if you do such and such.
Right. Yeah, there's some technical issues. So wonderful. Thank you so much for clarifying that. So Ted, give us a little bit of
No
background
worries.
about
No worries.
what you do. And I know you're in the SEO world.
For sure. So yeah, Mark referred me. Now I met Mark in Utah, and I used to live there, but I moved out to Vancouver, Washington. It's just about a half hour from Portland. So yep, he knows John knows where we're talking about. So I love it here. It's a little rainier than I'm used to, but it's great. And anyway, I recently left my agency position to do this full time. I've been working pay per click and SEO for about 15 years. On and off for different firms throughout my career, and it's finally time that I wanted to branch off and start my own thing. So I'm doing Northwest web marketing, and my real expertise is pay per click. I'm pretty good at SEO too, but pay per click, what I'm good about is generating. So or even if it's like a company like one of you guys is looking for, to put the keyword into Google, write a good ad, put a good landing page on there, and they'll submit, either their information or they'll give you a phone call. So that's what I'm really good at doing, is just driving leads through pay per click mostly. I can do sales too with e-commerce, but I specialize mostly in lead generation.
Yeah, I actually dropped out. My connection, I must have failed on me. You said your specialty is PPC, driving leads, and then want to repeat that?
So I do a little SEO as well,
Okay.
but I do pay per click and lead generation is like kind of my main thing, where I get people, like, let's say it's a local dentist or a lawyer, I try to get them down to that $30, $40, $50 phone call where they can get a new customer for about that price. It could be more, if it's an attorney and they're in a competitive area.
Right.
If it's a dentist, a lot of times I've seen $20 to $30 phone calls. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good deal. You think you can get 3 phone calls for $100. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
And it starts out, usually costs a little bit more at first. It's really a numbers game, but the more data, the more time I have to work with it, the better I optimize it and just kind of get the best ads performing.
Cool.
And you tend to work with sort of local trades and professionals, and is it mostly local?
Yeah, generally for the most part, I've done B2B before as well, like for franchise marketing, things like that. But mainly I'm looking for that local firm that just wants more leads, more phone calls.
Yeah.
So
local's where it's at. That's I can see that. Ted, when you said you're from Vancouver, I have a funny story. When you get on the Cascades train, Amtrak has a great Spanish-built train that goes between Bend, I think, Central Oregon to up to Vancouver, BC. And when you get on in Seattle, the announcer says, if you're going to Vancouver, Washington, you're on the wrong train. If you're going to, they distinguish depending on which way, if it's going north or south. Because if you're going to Vancouver, BC, there's one train, but if they always announce, if you're headed for Vancouver, Washington, if it's the other train, you're on the wrong train. And
That makes sense. Yeah, and I have the same problem when I'm Googling stuff. I'm looking for Vancouver gym or something like that, and it'll be Vancouver, up in Canada instead of Vancouver, Washington.
Yep. Oh yeah, all the time. It happens. Yeah.
Wait, so you're in Vancouver, Washington, or in Vancouver, BC?
Don't try this.
Washington,
which is south.
so it's
okay.
half an hour from Portland. So.
Yeah, it's just it's on the Columbia River. It's on the Columbia River on the other side from Portland.
I've been there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. We were just there.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I missed that. I heard Vancouver. Could be because my internet is unstable. I don't know what it's all about, but I'll check that out. Lots of technical problems today. So I'll give you my little pitch, and then we'll probably wrap it up. So Ted, I mean, David and John certainly know what I do. Besides running the Trusted Referral Network, I have a business doing sales representation for about a dozen software development teams. And most of our work, I would say 60 or so percent, 60, 70% is in the marketing world. So that's why I run this network. We build websites, we build mobile applications, we build e-commerce sites. Those are sort of the bread and butter. And then the other 30 or 40% is for startups. Those are small companies, could be like David's client, right, who's building an app for gyms, and she or he, whoever it was, unless they are a developer, probably didn't build it themselves. They may not have hired a team member, but probably went to a third-party development team, like the teams I represent, to build that app. Because once the app is built, a lot of that work is then maintenance. So you don't need to hire an entire development staff to build, your first version of the application, because it would be overkill and also very expensive. So my teams, they're all over the world, but also in the US. A lot of my work is with my dual shore teams, which means teams that have a couple of people here in the US, but most of their developers are offshore. And that seems to be a great model because the clients don't have to deal with the offshore issues, but they get the benefits, a good portion of the benefits of the cost savings. I'm doing some real interesting work. Obviously, a lot of websites. I just got off the phone with a client of one of my teams. They're building a proof of concept for a client who wants to do sort of a 23andMe kind of thing with brain scans. So he's a neurologist. He also runs a rehab, not a rehab hospital, addiction rehab hospital. Yeah. And he's done a lot of work in the nexus between the structure of the brain and what that means in terms of your capabilities, your personality, and all that sort of stuff. So he wants to make that information available to the public. And so we helped him do a proof of concept of how you pull the data down, how do you compare it against a brain scan, et cetera. So we get into some interesting stuff like that. It's telling me my internet connection is unstable, so maybe it's breaking up a little bit. Maybe it's me that's unstable. I don't know. So my best leads are really the agencies, small digital agencies, because they don't always have the resources in-house to deliver on the websites or the e-commerce sites or the mobile applications. Sometimes we're supplementing their in-house capabilities, and sometimes it's complementing. In other words, they've got, they're good with this platform, but they don't know anything about another platform. So that's where, hopefully one of my teams can fill in the gap. And so that's pretty much it. I see, John, you're playing a little bit with resizing your QR code. Looks better now.
You caught me. Yeah,
I caught you. But yeah, I understand that tool that you're using. What is it called? OBS is really powerful.
OBS. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did actually do a
OBS.
video about this. So if you before I do the showcase, I'll give you a spoiler.
You want to share the video? Should I put the video in the
That's what
announcement for the
that's what I'm
showcase?
doing. If I can find it. There we go.
So Ted, and while John is looking for that, if you have an interest in being a part of this, you like what you see. Of course, it's a small version, since there's only 4 of us. Then give me a call. We'll get on. I'll tell you more about it, and then we'll get you signed up. And right now there is no dues currently. There will be sometime later this year as my new platform, a new version of the web platform becomes available. Have one of my teams been working on it for a while. Yeah, been more of a headache than I ever thought it would be. But
That was good.
Yeah. Anyway, I posted the video that I did a couple months ago.
So how do can you put it in the chat? That'll be easier for us to grab. Yeah. By the way, Ted, and everybody should put their LinkedIn in the chat. And then we can
you can scan my QR to get my LinkedIn.
And you can scan my QR as well. Right.
There we go.
My QR is to like a virtual business card. All right, Ted, any questions?
Not so far. It's looking pretty good. I'm interested for sure.
Okay,
Ted,
so
Ted, this is unsolicited plug. This is the best online networking group I've ever been in, bar none. Because everybody's out to help each other, and it's just fun. I bring a beverage, chill out. It's great.
For sure. Yeah, I got my drink here.
Okay, cool.
Appreciate it.
Michael,
all right,
thank you so
we'll
much.
cut it short about 10 minutes. I promise to fix this this problem with the two different URLs. So we'll get it
no
right.
worries at all.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
get a T1 line while you're at it.
Yeah, maybe.
T1.
Maybe.
T1.
Yeah, get a T1.
That would be backwards. It's going the right direction.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.